And if anybody has questions, we're going to knock out this discourse of these prospects in order. And if you have any questions at the end, feel free to request, and we'll definitely get you at the very end. This is a recorded space, so if you end up missing or having to leave at any point in time, feel free to tap in with us later. And
and at us.
yeah, for sure, definitely. And just DM Ben or I if you have any questions about the draft. We'll be able to answer them right away for the most part. So, but let's get started, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do it. So this draft, or this Twitter Spaces rather, is about Spurs draft needs. All right. So this is Ben speaking. I am Project Spurs now. No, but so this Spaces, we're going to talk about Spurs draft needs. We're going to talk about, what that means as far as, skills or positions or maybe anything else that you all want to talk about, of course, that Evan and I are going to talk about. But what I'll do real quick is I'm going to give us a nice little overview here, kind of the skills or positions that the Spurs should really be looking at. Evan is going to go a little deeper into it. He's going to get into a little bit of the nitty-gritty. He is very good with that. So without further delay, here we go. So after looking at what the Spurs roster makeup is, and after watching this team all season, I think everybody can agree that shooting, in general, is a need for the Spurs. That is something they should be looking for. They've got to look for. They need a true wing or a true forward, someone who can play 3 or 4. It also wouldn't hurt to draft a guy who can play 4 and 5, or even just a pure 5, who can complement Jakob Poeltl, who can play at the same time as Jakob Poeltl, because just getting another defensive big, while it is nice, you can save Poeltl some minutes. It would actually be much nicer if you could play them together, not have to worry about a defensive drop-off, and also get some offense out of it without going super small with 4 guys who are 6'7" or shorter, or 6'8" or shorter, and then throwing 7'1" Jakob Poeltl out there. So if you've been on one of these spaces before, you've heard Evan and I talk about Jeremy Sochan. While he doesn't fit the shooter mold, he does fit into being a very versatile defender. The IQ is there, the feel is there. The shooting will have to get worked on, but that's someone you don't mind taking at 9. And so, having said all of that, I know that Evan has much more specific thoughts on who the kind of player he would like to see the Spurs draft. So, Evan, hit us with what you've got.
I'll talk about this one guy real quick, one prospect that we haven't mentioned at all, and that is Marjan Beauchamp. You can hear me correct still? Everything's good?
Yes, you are good, sir.
Perfect. Sorry about that. Listen, at 6'7", 6'8", I know we don't really need another wing. I know a lot of people are worried about the quote-unquote prospect and having this guy go to Austin, this and that. There's a lot of holes in this team, not just with shooting, not just with height, not just with your size. It's athleticism. It's being able to create your own shot. Yes, Devin's getting there. Yes, we can bank on Primo's growth. But if we were to move on from, get rid of some dead weight, right? Doug, that's a lot of money, 13 mil. Jay Rich, team option, 13 mil. Then together is a max contract right there. Boom. And then, maybe we don't bring Lonnie back. If you bring in somebody like Marjan Beauchamp, who said himself he would love to be a part of the Spurs organization and love to sit and learn, maybe 3-4 months, man. This kid has everything you need as a rookie, as a forward, as a combo guard, and has a little bit of intangibles of playmaking ability as a point guard. So, Ben, let me ask you 2 questions real quick. You there?
Yeah, hit me.
As a rookie, what are 2 things you're looking for? If you're a GM, what are 2 things you're looking for from a forward, as a rookie, if you're on your team?
Well, honestly, that depends which pick you're talking about to me. If you're talking about the 9th pick, that's a guy. I think most teams. I don't think that the Spurs normally do this, but I would say most teams are looking for a guy who can contribute right away. You can play him. You can get him minutes immediately. He's not necessarily a starter, but he's someone who can play immediately, who can contribute to your team, and he's going to have some bumps and bruises along the way, but someone you're willing to throw out there, give him minutes, and let him learn on the job.
Gotcha. Now, I was talking more the lines of what his abilities could be, but that was a great answer. So, in terms of what you need from day one, you need to be athletic. You need to be able to defend. You need to be able to make the right reads. And all of Marjon Beauchamp's game is somewhat NBA ready, but he needs to tweak a few things. And once he tweaks those few things, the confidence is already there. This kid is going to be a star. Now, not the most what's the word I'm looking for? Not the most he went from community college in Yakima, Washington, to the G League, and not that storyline isn't really heard about a lot. So when you think of where he's coming from and the mentality and his will to come in and be a part of the bench, be a part of Austin, start from the very, very bottom to work on his game. This kid is going to have a second and third year growth similar to Keldon Johnson. I'm telling you, there's nothing about his game besides the few things he could tweak. His jumper, like his mid-range pull-up jumper, 3-pointers there, but it's flat, it's not consistent, and the few things he can tweak is adding more arc to his shot. That's the one thing I would love to see him work on. There's a lot of like little minor freshman college mistakes that he was making in the G League, which is fair, which is okay. A lot of dribbling the ball too high, too loosely, getting ripped. A lot of careless closeouts, when you're tired. This kid has all the potential to be a star, and we got to move on from him. But that's a wing right now, a wing that you would bank on being ready as a key rotation piece next year. You can get him in the 20s right now. I think you can get him in the 20s. So I know a lot of teams like Denver, maybe Charlotte, maybe Atlanta. They're moving on for some of their wing pieces, and they're going to get some. Be interested in this guy, but if the Spurs can make this guy's dream come true, he said it himself. You know what I'm saying? That would be insane. I would love for that to happen.
And to be noted, while Marshawn Beauchamp is playing in the G League, like you said, started out of community college, has never really played against other college kids, at least at the D1 level. But playing at the G League level, it's not quite. People don't give it as much weight as Division I, your Power 5, but he's still playing against other grown men. So I think that has to count for something.
And he's holding his own too. His first step is super quick. He's like 2 or 3 dribbles in transition. This guy's at the rim, and he'll finish over people. He'll finish around the rim, up and unders. All that athleticism is something you just can't teach. And when you have this natural born gift to jump, like some of these guys can, it's just like, who's gonna stop this kid? Once he fills out his body, and he's a small forward, like right now, like that could play a shooting guard and a point guard. Now, we'll be able to defend a 4, like a 6'8", 6'9" 4, yeah, in the future. And that right there tells me everything about him, bro. Like, we'll have to move on from. We have other people to get to. But like I said, if this guy were to be a Spur, 1 through 3, any position at any point in time, is later on as a on ball initiator, that would be dope. But there's a few other people we have to get to. I want to talk about the center position as a whole in this draft. There's quite a lot of people that have been in and out, and a lot of people that are probably listening to this. So this is super important, guys. Jalen Duran is a solid center. Mark Williams is a solid center. Anybody and everybody else is not rotation ready. Chet Holmgren is not a center. He is a power forward in the NBA. Yes, he can play a small ball 5. Yes, he can, probably initiate off of, not initiate, probably defer off contact and in his that's in his preference. Basically, like he'll be able to block shots without having to get bodied. He'll be able to have a little like the Dirk fadeaway into his knee, in his torso. Like he has intangibles to be able to be NBA ready as a 5. But out of those 3, there's nobody. So let's look about what our draft picks are. We got 20 and 25. There's Christian Koloko, There's Yannick Sosa. There's a lot of guys that fit the same mold. 6'11", mobile bigs, solid rim runners. But here's the thing: a lot of these guys are like you can put them in Austin. You work on them, but there's a good chance they don't fail out. There's a good chance they don't turn out to be good NBA ready pieces later years down the line. Now, what I'm thinking is, there's a lot of like forwards who could play the five, like Jeremy Sochan, John Butler, a lot of guys like that. If you grab one of those guys, guaranteed, whether you reach for him at Jeremy Sochan at 9 or John Butler at 25, you don't have to worry about the 5 position right now. You can get that either undrafted free agency or you can bank on that in free agency itself with like a Mo Bamba or maybe a Mitchell Robinson. I don't really like Mitchell Robinson's fit. I don't think he's a Spur. You guys know I'm loving DeAndre Ayton. You know I love that trade package with the Suns. But in a sense, right now, Mark Williams is not going to be a Spur. He's probably going to fall to Charlotte. I don't see us falling down to 11 with that 0.5% in 9 days. That's not going to happen. If we stay at 9 or move up, it'll be an idiotic thing to select Mark Williams. And Jalen Duren may or may not be there. I'm telling you. So right now, if we had to talk about a huge hole in this team, it is actually the small ball 5. I am not high on Zach Collins. I am not high on Jock Landale. I'm not high on a lot of these guys after the second round that fit that mold, maybe like a Jabari Walker. EJ Liddell is definitely a first round. He's 6'7", but as a backup 5 in the NBA, I don't see that happening. Or small ball 5, maybe he has an NBA body. Paolo would be great. Number 1 pick. That would be ideal. Chef kiss. But the odds of that happening are so small. So who can be? Remember when we beat the Warriors at their place, and it was Keldon Johnson at the time playing against Draymond, and we won. It was Steph missed that last shot. It was like in November, December. Do you remember that, Ben?
Ooh, making me remember stuff, man.
Sorry.
Not great.
No.
But I would also argue that's a lot of because Golden State loves to run with Draymond at the 5.
And that's the NBA right now. In the second unit, everybody has a small ball 5 unit, especially in the Western Conference, especially if you are looking to compete and keep up with a lot of these younger teams. So let me ask you this. Jeremy Sochan is at 9. I picked him 3 or 4 times in these mock drafts. If we don't get him, who is rotation ready to play a 4 and a 5 in the draft? Ben, I don't think there's anybody besides maybe John Butler. And that's a maybe, man. That's a maybe. It's a maybe. So,
it's tough. I would agree. There are guys who are very clear 5s. There are guys who are very clear wings. In this draft, it feels like there are not a lot of guys who can play 4 and 5.
And I said this last space. I'm really high on Christian Coloco. He has potential on both sides of the ball. Keyword potential if he works on it in Austin for a guaranteed a year or 2. Because man, the touch around the rim is hit or miss, but everything else short put shots, mid range, none of that is there. This guy is just a defensive rim running big that can be used as a rotation piece, but only in circumstances when you need somebody that is athletic, that is quote unquote not Jock Landale, for good heavens, because I can't stand somebody. I've never been 6'11", so I can't obviously talk from this standpoint. But it's just like, dude, if you're that big, just jump. Just jump and put your hands up, and we'll move on from this subject. But this is a huge hole the Spurs have, and I'm so surprised we haven't talked about it. So in terms of like people that can be that small ball 5 in free agency, at the top of my head, I can't think of anybody. Kyle Anderson does not fit that mold. I would love him to be back in San Antonio, but that you need somebody that can keep up, that can mold, so we don't have Keldon Johnson anywhere guarding someone that's 6'8", 6'9". I would hate for that to happen next year, and he probably hates it. So
I'm sure he does not have a good time. Here's my question to you: if Jeremy Sochan is off the board at 9. Mm-hmm. I know that's kind of your dream pick there.
Yeah, for sure.
Who are you looking at? You have to take the pick. You can't trade the pick away. All right. You have to take the pick. Because I know that's what you want to do. If you can't get Sochan, you're out.
Yeah.
But if you have to pick somebody, who is your guy at 9 in that case?
Keegan Murray will not be there, but in a lot of mock drafts, either him or AJ Griffin are starting to slip, banking on other guys sliding into the early lottery or the top 10. But I don't really have a key answer for that, solely because there's a lot of intangibles that go with that answer. So if you're looking at, let's look at the best player available, man, it would be kind of dumb to pass on AJ Griffin, Johnny Davis, Dyson Daniels. I love Dyson Daniels, and that is somebody that makes a lot of people on this team expendable. That is the short answer, but the long answer, I'm obviously looking to trade back. You said no, so I won't say that, but I'm really, really looking to possibly. Man, I gotta holler at Charlotte, and I gotta talk about their 2 picks, because man, if we were to steal Ousmane Dieng and maybe Tari Eason with those, and still have who we wanted, and probably have get off some cap, maybe get off of Doug, Jay Rich, somebody, man, even like Zach Collins. Like we have so much money we can free up between those 3 people, and that's a max contract right there. So
that is plenty of salary that can be shed. That I think we're going to cover on another Spaces. And actually, we're going to cover some trade scenarios after the lottery, just because we'll know for sure who is picking where. So we're going to cover more trade scenarios. I know you really want to get into potentially getting Charlotte's picks, but I think if you're ready, Evan, we're going to open up the floor for some people. If you guys want to start requesting to speak, we'd love to take your questions. We'd love to get into it. We want you guys to be involved, because we want to give you answers that you're looking for. So let us know. Feel free to request, and we will be glad to have you up here on this virtual stage.
And if you want to look at the audience, No Ceilings is one of my favorite content pages for the NBA draft. Alex is here, so make sure you give him a follow. All of No Ceilings. I watch all their videos. These guys are one of the more consistent brands that have grown over the past year. And special shout out to him. And if anybody, like Ben said, anybody who wants to join us on stage, feel free. If not, like I said, feel free to DM us at any point in time. And we definitely appreciate all the follows that are coming in, guys. We really work hard on giving you guys or pushing the right content, so there's not a lot of wrong discourse out there. We've seen some comments earlier today. Ben, I saw, like, I'm not trying to discredit anybody, and obviously I'm not going to say this person's name, but it is now obvious that Ousmane Dieng, we have a request, I'm going to get to you in a second. Ousmane Dieng is not a top 25 prospect. He is a lottery prospect. And that itself is so important for people to know, because if you bank on having some guy fall to you, this and that, and you're surprised, he's reached at 15, that's just, some content that could have been pushed harder, if that makes sense. So we have Truco the Pimp on stage. What's going on, man? How are you?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Yeah, so what's going on, guys? So I went to 3 Spurs games this year, and all of them was in New Orleans. And the play-in game, bro, when what's the name? Jonas Vadas, I'm just calling JV. When he was this dude, he was abusing this, and like we definitely need to address that 5 position, bro. And I mean, and honestly, I think we need to address the 4 position as well, because I mean, yeah, they play Keldon at the power forward at times, but that's not his natural position. And you see when they do that, he gets out rebounded, which it's really not his fault, but that needs to be addressed in my opinion as well. The power forward and the center, not the center. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so when it comes down to it, bro, there's not a lot of centers that are NBA ready in this draft in the first round.
Right.
I was going on about this earlier. Mark Williams would be not an ideal perfect fit, but a good solid backup that's NBA ready that could play 12, 13 minutes for Jakob.
Right.
But I honestly don't think that Jakob is in this team's plans for the future.
No,
me either. Jakob, let me tell you, Jakob and Jonas Valanciunas,
dude,
man, you would think it would be like a somewhat even matchup. Yeah, you would think it would be a somewhat even matchup, but every single time JB has his number, And New Orleans is one of those teams that's just like, if we can't beat our own division rival,
how are we gonna beat the other teams?
And we're one of the worst divisions
Right.
in the you know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's tough. So let me ask you this: would you rather have Mo Bamba, or would you rather have a 19-year-old French?
Mo Bamba.
Listen.
No hesitation.
Ben, I love Mo Bamba. I was thinking that Mo Bamba could come in and maybe play a little 4 as well.
Right.
And that's what I was going to get into. We need a lot more athleticism, interior that can actually step out and not be Rudy Gobert. That's the best way to put it.
Right.
Rudy Gobert is getting pushed out the playoffs, and is getting and people have to they have to change their game plan here or around him, and we can have a center that can stop that. That is DeAndre Ayton. That is and here's the thing. There's combinations out there that we can sign that make all the sense in the world. We saw Evan Mobley and Jared Allen as a duo be a force in the paint. Almost anything and Evan Mobley can step out no. He can step out, bro, and on the interior on either a 1-3-1 or a box and one, and guard the leading point guard and force him one direction, or you know what I'm saying, move his hips well. There's not a lot of prospects that can do that. That's why I'm so high on grabbing a 4 that can play the 5. A John Butler, 7'1", Florida State. I'm telling you right now, this kid is definitely going to be in Austin. Definitely going to have a lot to work on his offense. But he has shown so much growth over this year. No. Hell no. No. If there's a way to grab Jeremy Sochan at 9. If there's a way to grab a combo guard / wing at 20 and a center at 25, you trade that last Lakers pick, there's no one going to be there, and you are going to have to move off of some of these contracts. You won. Let me tell you this. I tweeted this earlier. There's 3 French prospects that filled that build. Ideally, Ousmane Dieng is more of a wing, not a forward. But Ousmane Dieng is 6'11", has guard-like intangibles, can guard 1 through 3 right now.
Right.
And we saw Keldon. We even saw Luka Samanic fill out their body in 2-3 years. That is a forward, and that is a force. That is an elusive forward that can guard 1 through 4 now in a year or two. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, his one of his best friends, man, is his own teammate, Hugo Bisson. Super high on him. A combo guard at 19 years old. I tweeted this. People were kind of, giving me a rough time about this. This guy can come in, play alongside Trey Jones, and do exactly what Patty Mills did the last couple of years.
Also off the bench, okay.
Off the bench, yes, off the bench. Creating his own shot. He has range from logo range. Man, this guy can shoot from crazy range. And I want to make sure that everyone understands this. A guard right now in this draft isn't a huge problem.
Right.
But isn't a huge deal. What I say by that is that if we grab a guard, he's going to be number 3 on the depth chart behind Trey Jones. But the one prospect, Ben, hype me up. You know who it is. You know what I'm talking about. This man is a guard.
Yeah.
6'11". Yeah. Talk to me, Ben. Who is it?
It's your boy. I don't want to take away your thunder. Let him know.
It's the man Leonard Miller for 3. Let me tell you, at 6'11", man, there's nobody that has his playmaking ability at his size. Paolo can find the open man, flashy passes. Even like Patrick Baldwin Jr. can do like the no-look dump downs in the post. Leonard Miller is a guard. When I say guard, I mean guard in all caps. Guard. This dude dribbled 2 times. Hezzy. No. Hezzy fling with the right wrist to the open man that no one saw coming, and it's an open jump shot. It's getting into the paint. Silky left hand wraparound finishes. Sight dump down into the post. Yeah. I don't want anybody else on this team more than Leonard Miller and Jeremy Sochan, solely because at their size we need playmaking abilities. Leonard Miller isn't a roll man; he is a guard. But when you fill this man's body out in 2-3 years, this man is going to be a force. This man can move his legs. This man is a gazelle in the front court. And I'm telling you right now, when you build the confidence in him, that guy is going to be a star, a superstar. 5, 6 years from now.
Sorry to interrupt you. Do you think Keldon, DJ, and Vassell's our big three, or do you think one of them needs to be moved?
None of them needs to be moved if that's the big three. Because
Right.
let me give you a good comparison I saw about Devin Vassell. Devin Vassell has been swapped around at this 2 and 3, right? Right, Ben? A little bit, right? He's been toured around with his ISO game. We want, he's a 3 and D.
He's getting better off the
Is that what you say? And we can trust on him and his pick and roll playmaking ability. We can trust him in not in the front court, not initiating the offense, but coming off the screen.
Come off the dribble, and
Who does that sound like, Ben? Who's that? That sounds a lot like to me like Rip Hamilton. That sounds like a volume shooter that can have 20-point games, 12-point games, 15-point games, but still be effective. Guard maybe your best guy, either off the bench or your second best guy. That's not really his role to guard the best guy. Right. But I see that right now. I mean, not right now, but the next season. Devin Vassell's done in this working in the summer.
He showed up for the play. He's the only one that really showed up in our starting lineup.
And you mean to tell me he's going to get better and better? And he's going to have to earn his bag? All that about Devin Vassell's game, bro, is what makes me feel that if you keep DeJounte, Keldon, and Devin, you have Primo even saucing up on the bench as a sixth man. Tyler Hero, Anthony Simons, bro. You can literally have the best 1 through 3 in the league. And I'm gonna sound very, very biased here, but let me make this very clear. If the Spurs grab a Hugo Bisson, a Leonard Miller, a Ty Washington, right? That him behind Trey Jones all those guys are combo guards, right? All those guys are 6'4", 6'5", and 6'11", right? You have Primo, Hugo, another shooter, Joe, somebody probably you're going to draft, and maybe Marjan Beauchamp. We talked about him earlier. 1 through 3. That's the best young 1 through 3 in the freaking league. But no, not right now. But years later down the line, and you can build upon that. Who wouldn't want to come be a part of that if you're a free agent and maybe wants to make a little bit more money than what he's supposed to? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, that was a great question. I love the discourse. Vince, I'm sorry for hogging the mic, man, but if you had anything to follow that up on, I would love that.
I love it when you get into it, Evan. That's enjoyable to me. But I do love that question about the big, who potentially are the next big three for the Spurs. And I would totally agree that it's those three guys. And I would even argue, depending on how free agent signings go, that maybe if they can clear some cap space and they get one of those max salary kind of guys, you leave yourself open for them to potentially be, technically part of that big three. But those three guys are definitely your backcourt core. Mm-hmm. And like Evan was saying, that's a pretty fine core to be stuck with if that's the worst thing that happens,
Pretty good defensive big three, too.
Exactly. You got arms for days.
And one thing that you have to be able to... No. Let me slow down. There's 3 things you have to be able to do in the Spurs system as a guard. 1 through 3, you have to be able to pass. Not just make the right pass, but be patient. Know the offense. Find the right guy. Be able to hit him in the corner. Skip passes. Mm-hmm. You got to be able to shoot mid-range. If you can't shoot from 3, you better make sure you can get to the lane. You better make sure you can get a mid-range, right? And then you need to be able to play make and find the right read. Now, that's different from passing, but finding the right read can either be a LaMelo Ball, Jokic type skip pass across the court that you can find the guy on a quarterback bomb rather than no one else can. You can and there's Dyson Daniels, Marjan Beauchamp, these type of guys that can make that type of play. And I haven't talked about Jake LaRavia today. I'll make it quick. But as a modern 4, that's that's really who you want. But the thing is that you can't have all 4 or 5 of these guys, LaRavia, Bisson, Sochan. I'll make this clear. LaRavia is somebody who can fit in and be a starter one day, but he cannot be drafted with somebody who's going to be ahead of him in the rotation as a 4 or even as a 3. Now, I'll end this quick. Ben, we probably have to go soon. But next week, we're going to go super, super in about what this team could look like next year and the rookies that will have actual valuable minutes and where we'll be able to draft them this summer. The lottery is coming up, man.
Next Tuesday, right?
I believe so. Yes, I'm so excited. Ben, we're gonna have to host this watch party. You're gonna be on the video, Ben, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking
great.
forward to it.
You know, I've only been told I have a face for radio, but this should be fun.
Hey,
How many games did y'all go to this year? Y'all went to any games this year?
I went to a preseason game against the Rockets, actually with Michael, rest in peace, and then I went to a Denver Nuggets game with a diehard Denver Nuggets fan. That was a great time.
I went to and all of them in New Orleans. It was just like at the last minute type of thing. I didn't even plan. I was like, hey, let me go there.
For sure.
Nice.
Definitely. Well, hey, man, if you can, Ben, we're gonna be hopefully packing some bags soon. Maybe making a trip down to Mexico, maybe to Austin. I would love.
That's right. We have 4 home games that we got to travel to.
Facts. But listen, if you guys just tapped in, or if you listen to this later on in the day and you missed what we had earlier, this is a recorded space. We did have some technical issues, maybe around the 7-8 minute mark is when we got things going. I see a lot of familiar faces. If you guys have any questions, feel free to DM Ben or I at any point in time, or just add us on the timeline, and we'll get back to you right away. Truco, I definitely appreciate the questions, man. Appreciate the follow. We will be back next week, guys. And if you have any questions, like I said, just reach out to us, and we will go from there. Ben, you have any closing remarks?
No, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We're trying to do this weekly. We might after the draft settles down a little bit, we might take a little break, come back on for Summer League, give you guys some thoughts on that. But we got some great topics coming up in the next couple of weeks, especially with the lottery around the corner. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, sir. Alrighty. Hey, you guys have a great rest of your week, and we will talk to you guys soon. Go Spurs, go.
Go Spurs, go.
Go, baby.